Part of the Unify Ed Pact for public education is this idea of what you just talked about, which is transparency and accountability. And it's this idea that I think for a long time, and it's not just as it relates to school board members and our constituents, but really our public and our community as we relate to elected officials. What we heard from people when we surveyed them, even before Unify Ed came to be 4 years ago, was that was one of their top issues, that they felt a disconnect. So I'm going to give you a few more minutes to address that point. How are you going to specifically address it? I know you mentioned a few points with the advisory council, et cetera. How will you address those issues and make transparency and accountability a priority if you are elected to school board?
You know, start going back to the advisory council, I think that's a step in the right direction. I think we get leaders from each school in District 8, and they're kind of the person that can, you know, disseminate the information out. Another thing is, I think Dr. Johnson has done a really good job of this, is bringing public input with surveys and the calendar committee, bringing people, you know, with social media, it's easy to make a survey monkey survey and send it out. That's what I plan to do. I'm not doing this for me. I want to know what my constituents in District 8 want me to do. So using social media, using surveys, using an advisory council. I've also talked to our great Commissioner Tim Boyd. District 7, Commissioner Smedley and Joe Wingate, they do, and I think it's awesome, and I haven't seen it in District 8, they do community meetings at least once a semester or twice a year, where they get to come out, and they usually bring in Darren Ledford, their city council member, too, where it's basically, this is what we're doing, this is an update, and then, you know, the community members get to ask questions. And I think that's really important, and something that has really kind of inspired me, like we were saying, to run, and I think it's a huge proponent. I also think it drives me insane when I see something, you know, get added to the school board agenda, and they, you know, spending taxpayer money, and they vote on it that night. You know, let's see what we're doing. I think they've gotten really a lot better with their transparency on the budget and stuff, but I think we still have a ways to go. I think later we'll talk about the strategic plan and all that, and I think that adds to that layer of transparency and accountability that we see.
Can you show us and explain how you have already tried to prioritize these two things, this transparency and accountability as a school board member?
Well, the transparency issue, I think we have been addressing on our school board since I've been there. It has been a goal of ours to bring to light all decisions that we're trying to make. There was a time, and it's been in the distant past, and I hope it stays far distant from us, where decisions were arrived at without much community input. I was the chairman for facilities for 4 years, and may I say that we held meetings, not just one, not just two. We would hold meetings when we discussed our facility plan that involved community folks, and we met in schools. We talked with PTAs when this school here was built. The old school that was on this piece of property, it went back years of times coming in, looking at the facility, seeing how it needed to be replaced. I think our school has confronted the transparency issue, especially when it comes to spending large sums of money with the public. I think we've been very diligent with it. And may I say, we do have a system that doesn't work well. I get frustrated. I was very frustrated this past year. It seems like the school board, we're asked to come up with these lists of what we want, and it's almost like children making a list for Santa Claus, as best I can describe it. And it just doesn't work. It's a broken type system. We had delivered what I thought was a well thought out plan for expenditure to have new buildings and new improvements in our buildings. We made a presentation for the mayor. The word back to us, and you may not know this, we were told it wouldn't happen, that we would not have any big funding. Lo and behold, during the summer months, it all changed. Mayor was, and I'm glad he did, it was the first time on the school board for my 8 years that the mayor came forth and said, this is the amount of money that we're going to have. We need to get together, look at your plan, and build some schools. First time. I hope that that will be a practice that will continue. That is the type of openness that we need with our county commission, where we're not trying to make a decision in a vacuum. If there's going to be funding, let us know up front. If not, let us know. We can budget better when we know what to expect. One other thing that I feel extremely pleased with transparency. Our own finance department found a funding item that had been overlooked by the state of Tennessee and locally for years, liquor by the drink, many millions of dollars. We found that on the school board.